boys. Welcome to Great Paxford, boys.
Well, the poor devils look absolutely shattered.
Hardly surprising, given they had to fight their way out of Czechoslovakia and across half of Europe.
At least Churchill committed to getting them out.
I've been thinking. Someone who knows Adam ought to say a few words at the Thanksgiving service in his absence. And as president of the WI...
Hardly appropriate for a member of a secular pacifist organisation to comment on the silencing of church bells due to war. If anyone's likely to know what the vicar would have said under the circumstances, it would probably be the vicar's wife.
Our country is in a state of war with Germany, and, as of this morning, Italy. As a consequence, this station is on high alert around the clock, as is every man here. The last thing they need is the kind of distraction you've been offering Wing Commander Bowers. Consorting with a married officer undermines morale and is utterly beyond the pale.
Sir, never set out to distract.
You appear to be under the illusion that this is a conversation. It is not.
We've wasted quite enough time on this.
I agree. Aircraft woman Campbell, you are to be dishonorably discharged from the WAF, effective immediately.
Sir, please,
As a consequence, this will prohibit you from joining any other branch of His Majesty's armed services.
Do you understand?
This is unfair.
You will be escorted off the station.
Wing Commander Bowers had me transferred to his office.
Did you hear me, Miss Campbell?
What's happening to him? Is he being dishonorably discharged?
Wing Commander Bowers is being reassigned to another station. You are dismissed.
Miss Campbell?
Laura.
Please don't be nice to me, Tom. I simply want to leave and never come back.
I'll drive you home.
Thank you.
Sir? Oh, sir?
Mrs. Brinsley.
I'm sure I'm the last person you want to see.
Not at all. However, once again, I'm afraid the information you request is unavailable to the general public at the present time.
I have an absolute right to whatever information you have. And I'll keep coming until I get some answers. At the very least, you must be able to tell me where my son's ship went down. Was it near land?
That information, as you've been repeatedly told, is restricted.
But I wouldn't tell another living soul, please. I just want to find out what happened.
Please, Mrs. Brinsley, calm down.
I'm perfectly calm. Under the circumstances. I just need to be told
what happened to your son. And I'm telling you that at present, I'm not at liberty to give you any more information than you've already had.
Which is none. Well, in that case, I'd like the name of your commanding officer.
Mrs. Brinsley, that really won't make any difference.
I can see why you'd say that. But I'd like it, nevertheless.
Were you listening in to that call? Not listening in, so much as checking.
Huh.
We're all being encouraged to be on the lookout for the out of the ordinary. And what I'm doing is ensuring the caller is the person they say they are, and not a spy of some kind.
Oh, I wasn't aware German spies were expected in Cheshire.
3,000 Czech soldiers in the village, Mrs. Sims.
What about them?
Who's to say they're all Czech?
Who's saying they're not?
Can you tell the difference between a Czech accent and a German one?
Are you seriously suggesting that 3,000 German soldiers have snuck in to to the country by pretending to be Czech, and no one's noticed.
I'm saying we shouldn't assume anything is as it seems anymore.
So, snooping...
I'm snooping. Checking.
So, checking in on calls is, in your mind, a first line of defence?
Exactly. Have you heard from Mr. Sims at all?
No, not yet.
And I suppose he's not actually fighting, is he? Just sitting behind the lines, writing about fighting.
Yes. Writing about fighting.
Number, please.
Now there's a sight for extremely sore eyes.
Nick! You're back.
I'm taking up the post of the station's new wing commander. I did so well at Dunkirk, the top brassers promoted me out of the sky altogether.
Congratulations. I'm sure it was thoroughly deserved.
Oh, I wish I shared your conviction. Have you heard from Adam since?
No, nothing yet, no.
It was about as close to chaos as I've ever seen in the military. Men were being scooped up and dumped just about anywhere this side of the channel, so be patient.
I'm trying. Well, do come round for tea once you get your feet under the table.
Thanks, I'll be sure to take you up on that.
Do. I'm so pleased you're back safely.
It was a mistake, yeah? Come on, come on. You didn't know what you were saying. You paid for another, of course, of course. Here, take what it costs for beers for you and your friends, huh? Come on, okay, here. Okay? I'm very sorry. Are you hurt?
Prince, watch where he's going. You're just plowing to people when they're going about their own business. If you can't handle your drink, don't go to the pub.
If you wish to lodge a complaint, I'll take full responsibility. My name is Captain Marek Novotny, and I'm very sorry that you were involved, Mrs.
Sims.
Sims.
I don't need to make a complaint. I simply need to be left in peace when I'm walking through my own village. In future, watch what you're doing. That's all you have to do around here, is watch what you're doing.
Hello?
Laura? You all right?
Dishonorably discharged. But not just that. Not just from the WAF, that's not enough. I'm also banned from joining any other branch of the services.
What happened?
They paid me as a little slut who
Laura!
got into an affair, even though he pursued me. Lied through his teeth about his marriage, but he's a wing commander, so clearly none of that matters.
Look at me. If you refuse to be defined by this, you stand every chance of getting through it.
His wife is divorcing him for adultery and plans to publicly name me as the other party. I don't know what to do.
It's going to be all right. You have my word. You have my absolute word.
If you've read it, then why haven't you done anything? The article clearly said that radiation treatment has had considerable success.
What it actually said was there's been considerable success with some cancer and considerable failure with others.
Why couldn't you be among the successful?
As likely, possibly more likely, it would make me worse.
Well, you can't say that without trying it. Surely it's worth a shot.
You're not listening to me.
No, you're the one who's not listening. If there's the slightest chance...
That's exactly what it is, Kate. The very slightest chance. There is no dignity in false hope, none whatsoever. I'm not prepared to gamble with what little time I have left.
So you're just going to do nothing then?
Couldn't I put the same question to you? Before you met Jack, you wanted to become a nurse.
And then, as you said, I met Jack.
And now he's gone. His life has been cruelly taken from him, came from both of you. But yours hasn't. Before telling me what I should do with what's left of my life, why not give some thought to what you might do with the rest of yours?
Now, hang on a minute.
I do understand how hard this must have been.
Will.
As for you...
Good day.
Aren't you going to ask how it went?
I expect it went the same as the last time.
Well, you'd be wrong. This time, I have the name of someone in real authority to write to.
Don't get your hopes up.
They know what happened, Bryn.
Even if they do, you can't expect them to give away military positions.
I'm not asking for that.
But one thing leads to another, doesn't it? If they tell you, they got to tell everyone, and suddenly information gets out they need to keep under wraps.
David will be home in time to meet his brother or sister, Bryn. Mark my words.
Miriam,
Mark them.
Christ, how could you have been so stupid?
Because she's young and naive, Will.
But when Commander Bowers wasn't.
No, he knew precisely what he was doing. We need to do something, and fast.
But what can you actually do?
Will.
Go back to Italy, you dirty wop! Dirty wop! Dirty wop! Dirty wop! Dirty wop! Dirty wop!
That's enough! That is enough! What on earth do you think you're all doing? Go!
Mrs. Esposito, are you all right? What Italy has done is terrible. Mussolini is terrible. But this has been my country for many years. I have made my home here. I'm so sorry. It won't happen again from those children. You can take my word on that.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Sims.
Captain Novotny. Come in.
I came to apologize for what happened outside the pub yesterday. I asked someone where you live. I hope you don't mind. From myself and my men.
These really aren't necessary. I don't know what to say.
You can say I'll put them into water before they die.
Very well, I'll put them into water before they die.
And please, my name is Marek.
Should have a vase somewhere. We don't usually have flowers. My husband doesn't like flowers.
I didn't know it was possible to dislike flowers.
He says they remind him of how short life is.
Short, yes, but beautiful.
It's very poetic for a soldier.
When I'm not fighting for my country, I'm a teacher.
Oh, yes? Of what?
Ironically, German.
You know your shirt is torn.
One of many repairs I need to attend to.
Well, I can do that if you like to leave it with me. In the meantime, you could borrow one of my husband's.
That's very kind, but...
I insist. As my thank you for the flowers. One of Bob's should fit. Wait there.
Edith against the wall. George, you two. As quick as you can. Against the wall, Edith, please. You two, Oliver, against the wall. Against the wall, please, Albert. Do any of you know why you stood here instead of inside? Mrs. Esposito has lived in Great Paxford for 19 years. That's twice as long as you've been alive.
Well, I'm nearly 11.
Albert Stoddart. Don't even think about finishing that sentence, or I will come down on you like a ton of bricks, lad. She chose to live in England. She lives with us, among us, causing no harm to anybody. So why do you think that she deserved to be treated the way you all treated her this morning?
My dad says she shouldn't be here.
Albert, does your dad know that Mrs. Esposito hates everything that Mussolini stands for? Did any of you even bother to find that out before calling her names?
No, miss.
You will all write a letter of apology to that poor woman. Understood?
Yes, miss.
In.
Please repeat after me. I do solemnly declare
I do solemnly declare
that I know not of any lawful impediment
that I know not of any lawful impediment
why I, Claire Louise Hillman,
why I, Claire Louise Hillman,
may not be joined in matrimony to Spencer Wilson.
may not be joined in matrimony to Spencer Wilson.
Spencer, please repeat after me. I do solemnly declare that I know not of any lawful impediment why I, Spencer Wilson, may not be joined in matrimony to Claire Louise Hillman.
No regrets
Any chance? We've been married 3.5 minutes.
about getting married without telling anybody, not even your mother.
No fuss. Perfect. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson.
Say that again.
Mr.
Just the Mrs. Wilson part.
Only me and thee, Mrs. Wilson.
Your country is very beautiful.
Well, you only get this view if you take the shortcut.
And into all this beauty burst loud drunken Czechs.
Well, defending themselves against loud drunken Brits.
It was a situation we shall be careful to avoid in the future. We do not want people to be worried every time they see Czech soldiers.
The village is holding a service tomorrow to mark the silencing of the church bells. Why don't you come with your men? Show the village they have nothing to fear.
We have 3,000. The fear probably lies in our number.
Perhaps don't bring all of them.
Were you married there?
Oh, we married in Manchester, where we met. We moved here because Bob thought it'd be easier to write in the countryside. The open skies, fresh air.
Also better for children.
Bob and his career take a lot of looking after.
wasn't any room for children. You married?
My wife died of tuberculosis 3 years ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's time I got back to the camp, so.
Right. Straight ahead. It's much quicker than going all the way around.
Thank you, Mrs. Sims.
Please, Pat. You're very welcome. As you will be at tomorrow's service.
Goodbye, Pat.
Wing Commander Bowers. Dr. Campbell, Laura's father. I was just going to see the adjutant about her dismissal.
It won't make any difference.
Do you have even the slightest remorse for what you've done to my daughter?
Laura's an adult, Dr. Campbell.
Except that she isn't, is she? Not in any true understanding of the word. To all intents and purposes, she is still a girl.
In her father's eyes, perhaps.
If the adjutant won't reverse his decision, the very least I need from you is to drop Laura's name from your divorce.
I'm sorry, old chap, it's not in my gift.
So speak to your wife.
Do you think I haven't tried? The thing about my wife, Dr. Campbell, is that she's a miserable bitch. Once she settles on a course of action, there's no deterring her.
I wonder if she was a miserable bitch when you married her. Or do you turn perfectly happy, balanced women into that by your behavior?
I think you better leave the station before I have you thrown off.
Yes, I think you're probably right. One last thing.
I really must get on.
Of course. I was simply going to ask you to hold my hat for a moment.
Your hat?
I was aiming for your mouth, but I rather think I broke your nose by mistake. I would offer to fix it, but I won't. Sorry, old chap. It's not in my gift.
Mrs. Collingbourne?
Yes?
I have a telegram for you.
Thank you.
Any reply?
No reply.
Think about it.
This is the fourth time you brought me here in the last 3 weeks. I don't know what else you want me to say.
Please sit down, Mrs. Scotland.
Are you going to charge me or not?
Please, sit down. After a great deal of deliberation, it's been decided that all charges of accounting fraud against you are to be dropped.
What?
Your involvement with Hughes and his grubby profiteers has left you with a valuable combination of skills and experience, Mrs. Scotlock. We've decided it would be a waste to see those with her in prison. Instead, we have an offer we'd like to make you.
An offer? And if I decline, will the charges be reinstated?
They will remain dropped. All you have to do is consider my proposal and make your decision. I'm appealing to your patriotism. Worried?
Yes, a bit.
No need. You'll be fine.
Anything else I can get for you? No, thank you. You haven't called your mother yet.
No rush.
Well, why don't you telephone her now?
Could do. Or we could both stop playing for time.
Very well, Mr. Wilson. Let's go, before I lose my nerve.
At least you know he's alive.
But not where he's being held prisoner, or what state he's in, or what conditions they're being kept in. He's twice the age of the men he's been captured with, don't forget.
Twice as wily, twice as experienced.
We don't have any idea what the Nazis are doing with prisoners.
They have to abide by the Geneva Conventions.
Wherever he is, Adam will be calculating what he needs to do to get home to you.
In the meantime, you need to tell the village.
No, I don't want to tell anyone anything, not yet.
He is their vicar, too.
Adam isn't my vicar, Peter. He's my husband.
Of course, I didn't mean to suggest that.
People will only be sympathetic.
I'm not ready for their sympathy.
You must do what you feel is best.
I know that this could be a lot worse. But this is bad enough for me. Well,
They've dropped the charges.
what?
Not against the others, but I'm free to go.
How come?
They decided I was telling the truth. And that I've been placed in an impossible position.
Alison! That's fantastic news!
Well, it certainly took me by surprise.
Oh.
When your name is cited in this divorce, Laura, things could become very difficult. It might result in a very public humiliation. You need to prepare for that.
I know.
Margot, people will make assumptions because he has rank and status and you don't. And because you're a young woman who must, of course, have thrown herself at the upright wing commander.
Let them think what they like. Those closest to you know you, and we know they're wrong.
Well, Bills, excellent.
Something for you?
I've been offered an interview to train to be a nurse at St. Thomas's Hospital.
What?
I had no idea you'd applied, did you?
None whatsoever.
That's fantastic news, Kate. Well done.
Thank you.
Immensely proud of you.
Sure you want to go all the way to London to train? Laura will need all our support.
Best training hospital in England, she has to go. Jack, we're very proud of you.
Thank you. Now it's your turn.
I'm a doctor, Kate. I really don't need to become a nurse as well.
To seriously consider radiation treatment.
Since when have you been considering that?
Since now. If I'm to move forward with my life, shouldn't you at least try to move forward with yours?
Very well. I will seriously consider it.
Good.
How do you think your mother's likely to react?
She'll be disappointed she wasn't there. But once I explain why we want it between ourselves, I'm pretty sure she'll understand.
I don't want her thinking it was my decision alone.
I'll make that very clear.
And she's the first person we're telling him.
Exactly.
Go on.
Adjust the switchboard number, please.
Great Paxford 343, please.
I have a call for Great Paxford 343.
Putting the caller through now.
Hello? Mother?
I wanted you to be the first to know. Claire and I are married. Married where? In Chester. Today. This morning.
Captain of what? Marek.
Pat.
Come in.
So, I sent some men to your service. Clean, smart, not drunk.
Oh, wonderful.
So if it's ready, I'd like to attend in my uniform.
Of course, I have it here.
Thank you. It's like new. Thank you so much. So how do I look?
Extremely smart.
Thank you, Pat.
How long will your meeting take?
Well, Helen just wants to go through the quarterly figures, so it shouldn't take too long.
Try and make it to the service. Sarah could use as much support as we can give her when she's making her speech. Bring Helen if you're overrunning. Finish off in the house afterwards.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good morning, Mrs. Bardon. I was just wondering if Claire was home.
She's not due back until later.
Oh, then I wonder if you might give her this. So I might be among the first to offer my congratulations on her nuptials.
What?
Nuptials. To Spencer.
I think you must have the wrong end of the stick, or the wrong stick altogether.
I don't think I have. Pretty sure I'm holding the right stick at the right end.
Claire went to see a friend in Chester for a couple of days.
Odd she didn't inform her employer of such significant plans. But perhaps she wanted to surprise you. If you could give her my card upon her return, I'd be most grateful. Good day.
The radio this morning said there are 80,000 aliens in the country. Churchill's rounding them up. Every single one.
Good.
Stan, we all know Mrs. Esposito.
Do we? With the nation's back to the wall, who can we really trust?
Looks like now really isn't the time to stand out from the crowd.
Where are they taking her, miss?
I honestly don't know.
We never gave her a letter.
I've been asked to say a few words on behalf of my absent husband. You and I know that Reverend Collenbaum would have moved heaven and earth to be with us this morning. He loved listening to the bells. He often sat in church during bell ringing practice in order to be surrounded by what he calls their magnificent din. Unfortunately, I received notification that Reverend Collenbaum, that my husband, your vicar, has been taken prisoner, along with several soldiers of his regiment. In this, I'm all too well aware that I'm in the same boat as several women here, while several others are trying to come to terms with far worse news. This is not an easy time. After today, we will next hear these bells proclaiming invasion or victory, we don't know which. But before they give their last, let's remember that we are all fighting in our own way to prevent an even worse time to come.
Nice to see you.
One minute. Claire, I had the most extraordinary encounter with Jenny this morning. She seemed to be under the bizarre impression that you hadn't gone to see a friend, as you told me, but that you'd snuck away to get married. Well, I said that couldn't possibly be true because you would simply have told me. Oh. She was telling the truth.
How did Jenny?
No, I'm sorry, Mrs. Barden. We just wanted to get married quietly, without any hoo-ha.
Well, I wouldn't have insisted on any hoo-ha. Does this mean you're leaving us?
Oh, no. The plan was to live at Spencer's mother's house, but come and do the same hours every day.
Does your mother know what you've done? And what you're planning to do?
We told her first thing this morning, and we were going to tell you as soon as we got back.
Well, I don't know what to say. Except... Did you really think you'd get away completely scot-free?
Bob Sims, leg wounds.
Right, at 6.
Detective Sergeant Reynolds, please.
Albert!
Can I leave a message? The message is, I've given his offer a great deal of consideration, and the answer is yes.
Mr. Barden.
What's happening?
Keep Mrs. Barden away. Keep Mrs. Barden away.
That's Peter's car! Let's just come back!
Charlotte Bowers is to divorce Wing Commander Richard Bowers.
You mustn't let the gossip get to you too much, eh?
You'd expect something to suggest where a 20% share of the business might be owed.
Dr. Campbell, this treatment won't just tire out a tad.
Will?
I slept.
I'm calling an ambulance.
Have you been to see your husband?
He's quite badly injured.
You were the last person I expected to see.